Welcome back to Firestorm Games, and you're joining us as we take a look at another one of Games Workshop's latest releases for Warhammer 40k. The kit in question is part of the first wave of new Space Marine and Necron releases, and is of course the Invader ATV. As always, we'll be building this kit whilst talking about its features and rules before taking a look at the assembled miniature. So, let's get started. The Invader ATV is essentially a heavier outrider bike that seats two Space Marines, essentially replacing the older sidecar style attack bike. It has the same movement of 14 inches and also benefits from the added toughness provided by the bike's armour. However, due to there being two primaries piloting the ATV, the wounds characteristic is considerably higher at 8 wounds per model. However, the added bulk and focus towards ranged efficiency does mean that the ATV loses out on the devastating charge special rule. This means that the final stat line for the ATV is the same as your regular intercessors, albeit with 14-inch movement, toughness 5 and 8 wounds. With the standard save value of 3+, the ATV is one surprisingly tough nut to crack, meaning your opponent will need to dedicate a good amount of high strength and high AP weaponry to help whittle down those wounds, something your opponent will certainly want to do quickly, especially when you consider its potential for damage output. Its heavier frame allows the ATV to be equipped with some heavier weaponry. The two options available within the kit are the Onslaught Gatling Cannon and the Multi-Melter. With 8 shots, strength 5 and -1 AP, the Gatling Cannon will make literal mincemeat of any tough, yet more lightly armoured units such as Orcs. However, it's the Multi-Melter that truly shines here. Benefiting from the souped-up Multi-Melter rules, the ATV can be outfitted as a dedicated vehicle or monster hunter. Now that the Multi-Melter is now heavy too, it has even more chance of inflicting heavy wounds whilst bypassing all but the toughest and most heavily armoured opponents. Plus, you can also make use of the ATV's speed to get within half range to benefit from a 2-point damage bonus on top of your D6 roll. Both of these heavy weapons are complemented by a twin auto bolt rifle. It has a shorter range and less AP than the Outrider bolt rifles, but being Assault 6 means that you have a lot more chances to hit. It's fairly secondary when compared to the heavier options, but this added firepower is still useful for harassing lighter infantry. Now, one of the most surprising aspects of the ATV is its relatively cheap cost. Even when loaded out with the more expensive Multi-Melters, you're still not even hitting the 300 points mark for a full squad of 3. So you have potential of 24 toughness 5 wounds that are saved on a 3+, dishing out 6 Multi-Melter and 18 auto bolt rifle shots per turn, plus all of this zipping around with 14-inch of movement. And this is only taking up 1 force organisation slot, and these guys can be resurrected by an apothecary. So, in summary, it's pretty cheap. Now, that is not to say that the ATV is a magic bullet. It's not invincible. If you can lock the ATV up in Assault, then its damage output is severely diminished. With no dedicated melee weapons besides a single bolt pistol and just 4 basic attacks, they shouldn't be much of a threat to your dedicated assault units. That is, of course, if you can catch them up. However, the threat of losing a turn of shooting to fall back may be enough to dissuade your opponent from getting too close with his ATVs. So, now that we've discussed the rules, how is the kit itself? Well, the ATV is of the easy build variety. That means that the components tend to be larger and are also push fit, meaning that they're great for beginners, but also tend to lack the customization afforded to regular kits. It also makes it much harder to convert to, which, based on its appearance, might be something you wish to do. Beyond the options to choose between a Multi-Melter or an Onslaught Cannon, there are no other choices in this set. No extra heads or equipment, and even the shoulder pads are sculpted on, so swapping them out for faction-specific components will be all the more tricky. The flip side of this is, it's not all that pricey. It's a bit cheaper than a Ridge Runner and roughly the same size, but it doesn't have anywhere near the amount of extra components either. Aesthetically, the ATV follows a similar style to the Outrider bikes. It's chunky with slab-like panels, which gives it a very utilitarian appearance. However, I'm not really a fan of its overall design. It just looks a little bit odd. It definitely has a Tumblr Batmobile style to it, but it's not really big enough compared to the Space Marines to really pull it off. However, because of the lucrative rules, chances are that people will be running all these the same. So, now that we've talked about the rules and the miniature a little bit, let's finish off the build and take a look at the finished model. And so that concludes our look at the Invader ATV. Overall, it's a pretty standard Space Marine kit. The detailing is good, but the aesthetics aren't all that great. They do tie in nicely with the other biker units, however. Now, there isn't a whole deal of customization in this kit beyond the alternative heavy weaponry, but let's face it, you're going to be fielding this particular model for its rules rather than how it looks. So if you're looking to pick this kit up for yourself, you'll be able to save yourself a little money, as you'll find this kit with at least 10% off the RRP on the Firestorm Games web store, which you can find a link to in the description below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave your comments and subscribe to be kept up to date with all of our future videos. And so, we should say a big thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.